Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to episode 45 of the weekly podcast for the week starting 16th of December 2019. We are about a week away, only a week away from Christmas. Well, technically Christmas Eve, I guess. But hey, we're doing this. We're gonna do the year properly, and we're gonna start the new one. I don't know what I'm talking about, man. Like, look, I am planning on getting another podcast by the end of the year, like possibly for Christmas Eve is gonna be actually the next one. Hopefully I can record and do all of that stuff before I actually go back to my hometown. But yeah, those are the plans. As always, if you care enough, you can like go follow me on Twitter. I'll let you know if there isn't going to be one or if there are like some kind of complications or whatever. But for the most part, there should be a podcast. So hey, if you don't celebrate Christmas or any other holidays during that time, you can be like, well, there's one more podcast next week. I guess I don't know. Sounds so weird, man. But hey, how you doing? This podcast is gonna be a little bit of a mess. I have no notes. I don't know what I'm gonna be talking about, so I'm gonna try and fill like 30 to 40 minutes of this. So it's mostly gonna be fewer. It's not gonna be too big of a talking point. Although I guess I do have the UFC. I mean, there were some interesting stuff during the UFC stuff, the UFC event that we had this Saturday. So yeah, that is gonna be a thing. That's what I'm gonna be talking about mostly, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know other stuff. I'm trying to think of stuff that I was thinking. Oh, maybe I should talk about this or maybe I should talk about that. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's like my sleeping schedule is really kind of ruined, man. I don't know what it is. So I talked about it in the last podcast when I was like, oh well, I can't really sleep well. I've been waking up every night like 5 times, and I've been having like these weird dreams and stuff. On Saturday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna drink a little. I didn't drink much. I drank like a glass of brandy. So and brandy is kind of healthy because it has like apparently detox effects and stuff. So look, I didn't do it to get drunk. I didn't defeat my purpose of, oh, I'm not gonna be boozing or eating bad food until Christmas. I didn't. I did it for health reasons. Okay. I don't know, but yeah, after I had that, I was like tired and I just went to bed and I actually got a good night's sleep. Who would have thought that would happen? But yeah, I got a good night's sleep and and then I don't know, everything sort of came back of the weird dreams and stuff, and I still have them. I just don't wake up anymore. That is like the strangest thing. Like I am sleeping throughout the whole night, but I sort of have a lot of dreams. I don't remember what the dreams were or anything, but I can remember, yeah, I was dreaming about a lot of stuff. And it's always like unsettling stuff, always stuff that I don't know, I guess that I'm insecure about or whatever, because it's not like a good dream that you dream it and you wake up and you're like, oh, that was pleasant. No, it's always like I wake up and I'm like, I feel like garbage, man. And like today I woke up and I'm not really tired necessarily, but the first feeling in the morning is when you wake up and you've had one of those dreams. You feel like, ugh, man, what have I been doing? Or why didn't I do that instead of this? And then it's like, well, what am I even thinking about this? It was a dream, and it was, I don't know, like the last dream I had today was, I was at the bar and I get into a fight with some dudes. It was a weird one because I essentially I sat at a table and I was waiting for a few of my friends to show up, and then these other people came and sat at my table and they started cheering because it was like an NBA game on or whatever. Like I don't even remember the last time I watched basketball. Why am I dreaming about this? It's so weird. It is so weird. But yeah, they start like cheering and whatever. And I was drunk. Like, I don't know from where. In my mind, apparently, I was like, "We've had just one beer, but I'm really drunk for one beer." And I was like, "Yo, dude, get out of my table! Like, it's taken. Can't you see? I sat here first." And then this guy tried to grab my hair or something, but because I cut my hair short, he couldn't, and then he decided to grab my arm and pull it, at which I punched him in the face, and one of his buddies, like I don't know, started rubbing my head, like giving me a noogie, but he didn't grab me in the position of a noogie, sort of thing. It was weird. Like, it was super weird. I don't know what's happening in my brain, man. Oh, I should go get a doctor, But the mental health here is, it's so expensive to get treatments for your mental health, man. This is why, like, pretty much no one in my country bothers. Like, half of the population probably have some kind of mental condition. I can guarantee you, but it's just so expensive that it's like, dude, like, I don't care. I'm gonna just live with it, and we just go on with our lives. And I don't know. It's like it's like a normal thing here. Who No one really cares about mental health. Everybody has something. Everybody has like some kind of an anxiety or a depression or some kind of something. Like, you can see it on people's faces, man. No one, you barely see happy people walking on like the streets or whatever. Everyone is in a hurry. Everyone is like, I guess it's like just part of life, because it's like, oh, working days, we gotta go. I gotta go do the thing. I'm working, I'm getting paid for this, so I gotta get it done and stuff. But yeah, man, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, my country is a weird place to be, really. It is sometimes it is like very strange, especially like the people, because the only people that do get actually some kind of mental treatment, the government pays for it, essentially, are people that are just insane. Those people that don't have an idea what's going on around them, and they're just doing weird stuff. They just could get put in like an asylum or something, and they get free treatment, which everyone else who's struggling with other mental illnesses is paying for, and we don't have money. I shouldn't say that, man. Like, those people do need help. Those people do need help. I do realize that, and I am very, I don't know, blessed, I guess, that I actually have a semi-functional brain. That is, I'm really thankful for that. That I'm not just some person that doesn't even know where he's at and stuff, because it's horrible. I'm guessing it's really horrible. Like, your brain just switches off and it doesn't work. Like you can't do anything. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, usually the people that are like this in my country are people who have abused drugs heavily throughout their whole life, sort of a thing, and this is where they ended up. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Some people get born this way. Some people get, like, I don't know what is, like, Down syndrome or something. It's really weird. It's really like the beginning of the podcast is like very dark, man. It got into places where I don't even know anything about, and I shouldn't really talk about them. But hey, here I am talking about weird stuff again. Like, the story of this podcast, really, me talking about stuff that I don't really know anything about. And speaking about not knowing anything, let's just talk about the UFC, and I don't know. Then I'm gonna figure out then what I'm gonna talk about afterwards, if I don't take too long over here. So let's start with the UFC 245 main fight card. The first match, I kind of called it last podcast. By the way, if you haven't watched the UFC, I would recommend go and watch it before you listen to this podcast because I'm gonna spoil it. It was actually, I would say, it was in fact the best. All around, it was like just the best UFC of the whole year. It was fights that were interesting to watch, compelling, and it was just a treat. It was a real treat for the end of the year. Now I do know that there is like at least one more fight night until the end of the year, but in terms of like main nights, I guess, or whatever of UFC, like this is the one. I think it is like Fight Night 265. Let's see if we can actually see, because I know Frankie Edgar and the Korean Zombie are gonna be fighting. Oh, also Volkan Oezdemir, I think that's how you pronounce it, versus Alexander Rikes. Then we do have, I don't know, we don't really have anything too interesting, to be honest. But yeah, man, I mean, I guess Frankie Edgar is gonna be fighting. I'm just happy that Edgar didn't get a McGregor fight, because that would have been the worst thing that McGregor could have done. As I said last podcast, I think the Cerrone match is a good match for him. It's a pretty good match for McGregor right now. But yeah, okay, let's start with the UFC 245. The night was kicked off by the bantamweights, Peter Yan and Uriah Faber. Now I think I called it on like last podcast. I think I called it, man. I think I said that if you were gonna put money on this match, you have to go with Peter, and Peter did won, or Peter. I don't know how you pronounce it really, but I've always been calling him Peter, but it might be Peter. Who knows? At this point, who knows? But yeah, man, this guy is a beast. I think he has a good chance against Cejudo, but I will see. I mean, he's probably gonna get a title shot at some point. But yeah, man, he knocked out Uriah. It was a good fight. It was actually like the perfect way to kick it off, really, because it was an action fight, man. There was plenty of stuff happening, and it was a good fight. But then we go to the bantamweights. Jose Aldo, it was there, and dude, I don't know what to say about this fight, man. Like, Jose Aldo was not dominant. Everyone was like, oh, he's gonna succeed in this division, he has to be dominant, he has to, be the old Aldo, and he didn't get a KO, he didn't get submissions. I don't think he's a submission artist, he's more of a KO guy, or TKOs, whatever. He didn't get anything. But that said, I don't think that Marwan won that fight, because it went to a decision, and apparently the judges scored it for Marwan. I don't think that was the case. I think Aldo got robbed, because Aldo actually was the person that was more active. He was starting all the engagements. It was just Aldo's match, man. I don't know. Whoops. Sorry about that. Give me a second real quick. But yeah, I'm out. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Shouldn't happen again. But let me start the recording real quick. And we're back. Okay, Aldo's match. As I said, I don't think he was that fight, man. I don't think he had more strikes. I'm looking at like total strikes right now. Like, he had 152, of which 63 were significant. Were strikes, I guess. Marwan had 50. Wait, what are these stats? So apparently, yeah, I'm looking at wrong stuff. But yeah, apparently, Jose Aldo hit strike percentage like 63 out of 152. I mean, look, Aldo took more. Dude, that is, I guess. Oh man, my brain is just stopping to recover here. But look, okay, so Aldo had more volume punches, but in terms of significant strikes, um, I don't know. In terms of significant strikes, Morris had like one more apparently, and also Morris had like uh, I don't know, like a takedown that he got, but then Aldo got the takedown defense. Look, all I'm saying is, if I was a judge, I wasn't gonna score it the way it was. Okay, I have nothing against Marwan. Marwan's a great fighter. He's a cool guy, but and like Aldo looked the fresher guy at the end. Aldo looked like the dude that did more of the action as well. He was starting the engagement. He was just more active. He was just more active. The more active dude was Aldo, and oh man, I think he was robbed. He was robbed of a win over there. So I don't know, if you're Aldo, what do you do? What's next for you if you're Aldo at this point? Because you gotta fight. You went down a division and you lost your first fight. Usually when you go down a division, you have an advantage because you're a dude that's been taking hits from bigger dudes. Also, you're a dude that is usually has been comfortable with fighting bigger guys. Your punches are harder. Everything is like stronger than you. And the thing is, Aldo looked great. Aldo looked great in the octagon, man. It wasn't like, oh, he was gassing out. He didn't have enough energy because of his cut. He didn't have, like, there was nothing. Like, he had a perfect cut. He was out there and he was playing the Aldo game, really. It's just I don't know. He wasn't like the old Aldo. He wasn't the pre-McGregor Aldo. And it's like, what do you do from there? If like one fight like that, the McGregor fight just ended his career, man. Which is like super sad, because before McGregor, Aldo was a beast. There was no one who can beat Aldo, and now it's like just loss after loss after loss for this guy, man. Like 6 losses he has now on his personal record. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because Aldo was thinking about going to boxing. Wasn't he become a professional boxer and leaving MMA as well? I kind of feel like it's too late for that. Kind of feel like it's too late to start a career in boxing right now. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like his heart isn't in the game anymore. The whole fighting thing, it's not for him. Maybe if he switches a sport, he goes into boxing, he can get motivated again and start doing stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think. I would love it if he proves me wrong. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he is a UFC fighter anymore, Aldo. I don't think he has what it takes anymore. His mind is not in the game anymore. Which is kind of sad. It is pretty sad, but I mean, let's go to the next match. The women, Amanda Nunes versus Jermaine May. I think that's how it's pronounced. That was so. Jermaine did a fantastic job. She lost, and it was obvious that she was gonna lose. But then again, like, she put up such a big fight. The fact that she wasn't out in the first round and that she bounced back after after being essentially TKO'd in the first round, she came back and fought for 4 more rounds. Like, that is impressive. That is really impressive, man. She took a lot of pounding, a lot of beating. Even she had she had like a few times where the champ was in danger, man. She had like a triangle, an armbar. She had like she tried a few submissions what was like off her back and stuff. But the thing is, she is not experienced enough, or she hasn't really trained enough for that style. So it was like, ugh, that's not something I can do, you know. But on the feet, she was the better fighter, which kind of amused me because Nunes was afraid of her. Nunes was afraid if the match was on the feet, she would have lost it. So every attempt she had, she just took her down. Like I don't know how many takedown attempts there were on the match. Takedowns 11, and she got 8 of them. You know, like if Jermaine had like a better takedown defense, she I don't know, she could have even won that fight because Nunes was the Nunes was in panic mode essentially. The fact that she couldn't finish her in the first round and then had to go 4 more rounds, like just congrats to her, man. Congrats to Jermaine for doing this because no one else was able to do it in a long time. No one else was able to get like a 5 round against Nunes of all people. So yeah, yeah. I mean the kind of the statistics are crazy. We have 337 strikes for Amanda Nunes versus 175 for Jermaine. But yeah, that was a great fight. If you that was like because you didn't know what was gonna happen. You didn't know you have never seen like maybe in her earlier days in the UFC, maybe, but you haven't seen Nunes in this panic mode. She was panicked. She didn't want the fight to be on the feet. She was like, I gotta take her down, and I gotta just play it there. I gotta play on the ground, play on the ground. You know, there was even like at one point, I think the second round, the referee stood them up because Nunes wasn't really doing anything, and they were just both just laying on top of each other, sort of a thing. So yeah, I don't know. I know. I mean, she still won. Like Nunes was the the person who was driving the match. She was in the driver's seat almost all the time. You know, there were like a few times where Jermaine actually tried to pull off a submission or something, but yeah, for the most part, it was all Nunes just doing her thing. But yeah, I mean, props to Jermaine for surviving 5 rounds against Nunes, man. Like, not a lot of people have been able to do that, you know. And I kind of don't see Nunes being dethroned anytime soon. But yeah, man. I mean, I called that match as well. If that's what you want to say, I told you. But then again, that was like an easy pick. You know, that was like a super easy pick. And for Jermaine doing what she did, nobody expected that. Nobody. We all expected this would be a 1 round fight, and especially the way the fight started. We all thought, oh well, it's over, it's over, and it wasn't. You know, it wasn't. it, that was a good fight, man. Like pretty pretty good fight. Like all of the fights here were good. I guess like only the Aldo and Marwan fight. Those were the only fights that were the only fight that was a little bit more on the boring side, I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, the least amount of action happened. I just spat on my mic, but yeah, man, that was probably the only fight that I don't know. The whole UFC was good, man. The whole UFC was like, especially if you don't know the outcomes and stuff, and you, because if I knew the outcomes and I was just rewatching it to see what was happening, I probably wouldn't be like, oh man, I wouldn't be hyped for all the matches, sort of a thing. But for the most part, watching it without knowing what it was like a super good experience. It was like the greatest experience you could have this year watching a UFC. That's all I'm gonna say. Then what else? What else do we have? The co-main event of the evening. The featherweight. We have a new featherweight champion, Alexander Volkanovski. Congrats to him. Like he did a good job, but I don't know, man. He didn't do that well. Now, before people start saying stuff like, look, he won the fight. Okay, he did win the fight. I don't think he did that well. And the fact is he won the fight because Max is the loss from Poirier did something to Max. Like it broke his. I don't know. It felt like it broke him. This is what I was like mostly worried about because I love Max Holloway. I love the way he fights. I love his personality. He's like a cool guy and stuff. But he's not there. He's mentally not there after that Poirier fight. After going up a division and being punched in the face for like 5 rounds, he played it very, very cautiously against Volkanovski. He was not the Max Holloway that we all know, who was out there throwing haymakers just in your face, punching you all the time and stuff. That was not the case. He threw so little punches, Max. He was just waiting, playing on the offensive. I mean, I say little punches. It is like 300 punches against. Like he did throw more punches at the end of the day than Volkanovski by one, But I don't know. It just wasn't Max. It just wasn't Max. The Max Holloway who is gonna overwhelm you and stuff, And Volkanovski, like he did enough to win the title. He won essentially every round, but I don't know, man. He didn't fought like a champion really. He just fought for like. It wasn't like a big win, a big win. It wasn't like I dominated this guy even though I wasn't able to put him out. I dominated this guy. It wasn't like that. Like, it was an interesting fight nonetheless. But I don't know, man. I guess I was like, I kind of from one side I know Volkanovski has done a lot and he's like a cool dude and stuff. And from one side I was happy that he won, but from the other side I was like, ugh, Max. Dude, it just broke him. It just the Poirier fight broke him, And if that had like such a big impact on him, imagine if he actually got the Khabib fight. Imagine if he was actually against Khabib and Khabib was just, man, because they were talking about what was it on. Which UFC was it? Where the one where Khabib and Tony were going to fight, but then Tony broke his leg or whatever, and they were like, oh, well, Max Holloway is gonna come up and he's gonna fight him, and then Max Holloway's Max like had like a bad, I don't know, cut or whatever, and he couldn't make. He was in the hospital. It was weird, man. But imagine if he would have gotten that fight, we won't have Max Holloway right now. Which, I mean, we don't really have him as well after the Poirier fight. That took such a big. I don't know. I just hope that Max can bounce back. He's probably gonna have a rematch because Volkanovski didn't dominate him or anything during that match. He didn't really did a lot to show that, oh, I'm just the better fighter or this and that. It wasn't like that. So yeah, man. He's probably gonna get a rematch at some point, or he's gonna have to. Worst case scenario, Max is gonna have to fight someone, and then he's gonna get a rematch. If he beats that someone, though, like. Oh man, I don't know. I hope in the new year Max can bounce back, man. Because I don't think he is mentally where he wants to be right now. After that Poirier fight, it looked like he was afraid to get punched in the face. After he took a lot of punches against Poirier. He took like just mainly head punches against Poirier. But the thing is, Max knows he's hard, man. Max knows he can take these shots because Poirier, a dude that is way bigger than him, was punching him in the face for 5 rounds, and he was like, "Well, I'm still here, I'm not going down." So I don't know. Max just needs to be like cocky. He needs to get his confidence back. That's that's like the main thing that needs to happen because I don't know why my voice starting to crack, man. Ugh, you think that me doing these podcasts would train my voice to be better and to last over 30 minutes, but apparently not. Apparently it's getting worse. But let's go to the main event. The main event of the evening, the best fight, the whole year, the fight of the year. That fight was the fight of the year, man. If you didn't watch the UFC, but like this is like the match you need to watch, okay? If you want to disregard all of the fights up till now, although they're all good fights, no, I would recommend watching them if you haven't watched them. But it's a must see. The Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. That was a fight, dude. That was a fight. Oh, that is what championship fight should be. That is what a champion versus a number one contender should look like. Okay, none of this stupid stuff where the champion, and the challenger, they're all just looking at each other and they're like calculating it in their brain. If I throw this punch, then I have to throw this punch, and it's just like them watching each other for half the fight, and then they throw punches every now and then, like especially the Woodley fights, man. Especially the Woodley fights where it's like 25 minutes of Woodley just staring you down and throwing a punch every minute or so. It was like 5 shots of a fight, and stuff. It's ridiculous. Woodley's last few matches were ridiculous, and I kind of was doubting Kamaru Usman. He's actually undefeated. He's like 10 win streaks, thing, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I thought the thing is, I didn't really knew who was gonna win it. I was thinking for the most part, like I don't know. I wasn't really cheering for anyone. Kamaru Usman was I if I had to choose one, like Kamaru Usman was more my favorite, but at the end of the day, like Colby Covington, he is like a guy that just oh man, that fight from the get go, man. There was no feeling out period. There was nothing. They just came out punching each other, and this is what I was afraid of, because the beginning was great. The first round, they all just throw punches at each other, punching. This was non-stop action, and the thing was, I was thinking, well, if it went to the along, if it went the distance, I was thinking, oh, well, maybe at the end they would have, it would be just staring each other down because they would be out of energy, they'd be tired or something. But no, 5 rounds. I think in like the third round there was a little bit of a slowdown in the beginning of the round, but then they just kicked it off, and they just, oh man, it was all just punching and kicking and all of that weird stuff, dude. Like, look at that. Look at the statistic. 360 strikes for Kamaru versus 395 strikes for Colby. Now, Kamaru was putting on the harder hits. Colby was sort of thinking, I'm gonna overwhelm him with punches, and they're not gonna be that hard and stuff. They're just gonna be a lot of them. Whilst Kamaru was like, I'm gonna kind of hit you with some haymakers, and Kamaru in the third round, Kamaru broke Colby's jaw, which I mean, it was Colby's fault really, because when you go in for a punch, and you know that you're gonna get punched because you're getting close to a guy, you have to expect it to get punched back. You don't go with your mouth wide open. You kind of bite down on your mouthpiece, and you have to have your whole mouth just flexed, just clenched together. You don't go in and get punched with your mouth open, wide open, like he did. And yeah, so it cracked his jaw. It broke it to a degree, I guess. But yeah, man, he didn't give up. He didn't give up. I was like, oh wow, well, if his jaw is broken, his head is not gonna be in the fight anymore. He's gonna be thinking about that. And at the beginning of the fourth round, it definitely looked like Kamaru was like, yeah, I'm finishing this fight. But then Kobe bounced back. Yeah, and then I don't know. Kobe just took too much punishment after his jaw being broken and stuff. Like he just took too much punishment, and Kamaru put him down. But dude, it was a great fight. Like that is what a championship fight should look like. None of that other stuff. Because when you see usually like someone defending his title, like look at Jones's last match. Look at Jones's last match, man. He was just doing the bare minimum to stay in the fight, and that was it. He was afraid. He was just looking at the guy. The guy with a torn ACL. He could have easily put him down, but no, Jones was being a little bitch, and he was like, I'm not gonna fight. I want my title. I don't want to lose it. So I can see this guy barely walks. So I'm just gonna stay here and punch him a little bit. And it was like, ugh, dude. But the Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, that was a fight. That was a fight, man. That was like a great way to end the year with UFC main nights. Great, a great way to end it. Both of them took it to like another level. Kobe, he did amazing in that fight. He did amazing. He showed that he can fight, and I think they'll give him like to fight someone else, and then they're gonna give him a rematch against Usman. And then, yeah, I don't know if Usman is gonna fight anyone else in the meantime. I think that maybe it's gonna be a rematch against Kobe, really. But Kobe needs to prove that he deserves that rematch, because I don't think Dana is just gonna give him, hey, sure, it was entertaining, have another go, why not? I don't think that's gonna happen. So yeah, I think that's for the UFC. Yeah, there was like news that Yao Romero was going to fight. Why am I forgetting his name? Israel Adesanya for UFC 248. That's gonna be actually an interesting fight. That is gonna be a fight that I would love to see, in all honesty. Okay. But yeah, that is I think as far as stuff I have to talk about. The UFC looked. If you haven't watched it, I know I've kind of spoiled it for you, but the matches were great. The matches are worth rewatching, every single one of them. It was a good UFC night, so just go and watch, man. Just my voice is cracking. Please, voice, don't do it. Don't do it to me, voice. But yeah, man. Other than that, nothing really much interesting has been happening in my life, really. I've been kind of working out. I think I am. I do have my scheduling down. That I would be working out a good amount. Like, my schedule is down, so I'll be working out until I leave on Monday next week. So that's gonna be a thing. Also, the podcast, there should be, as I said, another podcast for Christmas Eve. It's gonna be festive, hopefully. I don't know. I mean, it's just gonna be me rambling even more, if I gotta be honest. But you know what? It's been the whole year of me just rambling. So if you've been here and listening to me ramble the whole year, you probably wanna hear me on Christmas Eve as well. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I have a long drive to my hometown to do on a Monday. So I don't know if it's gonna be a shorter podcast or not. I'll have to figure out. But that I guess that's something for me to figure out. You know. But yeah, other than that, I need to fix this sleeping thing. I need to. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know what I can do if I just don't go and seek for help. So sleeping aid. Just grab some sleeping aid stuff, man. I don't know. I don't want to take that shit. No, I don't want to take weird stuff and pills and whatever. No, I want to take whatever I want to take. I don't know, man. Like that's the thing, because usually people say, "Oh, something major must have happened in your life, or something like a change in your diet, or in your lifestyle. There must have been some kind of change in your lifestyle for it to for you to have these dreams and they to haunt you this long, sort of thing." And I'm like, well, nothing has happened. Like, absolutely nothing new has happened in my life. It's been like this for like the past few months at least. Which is weird. Maybe I'm just going insane. Who the fuck knows? Who knows? But yeah, thanks so much for coming in and listening to the podcast, guys. As always, comment, like, dislike, all of that good stuff. Go follow me on Twitter. I will be posting some festive tweets probably, so to get you in the mood for Christmas and all that stuff, especially when I go back home. We should have a real tree, a real Christmas tree, because it's a tradition in our family. But yeah, we'll be talking about Christmas and stuff next podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Go watch the UFC. It was a good one. And I'm gonna see you all on Christmas Eve.